Could it be possible that international bankers hold the puppet strings of our global economies? What if a nation could cut these strings and take control of its own economic destiny? Well, there's a story worth examining. The story of a nation, let's call it Nation X, that defied the international banking cartels. In a daring move, Nation X chose to issue its own money, freeing itself from the clutches of international bankers. It didn't stop there. Nation X introduced a national credit program, funding public works through their own resources. The cost? A hefty 1 billion units of their national currency. But Nation X had a trick up their sleeve. Government-issued bills of exchange were the currency of this ambitious project. Workers were paid in treasury certificates, effectively putting millions of jobless people back to work. This plan worked without the backing of gold for the nation's currency. Instead, it was a receipt for labor and materials delivered to the government. It was a simple yet effective system. For every unit issued, the government received an equivalent unit's worth of work done or goods produced. Nation X's government paid workers in certificates. These workers then used these certificates for other goods and services, creating a chain reaction of job creation. This strategy allowed Nation X to crawl out from under the crushing debt imposed by the international bankers. The result? Nation X's unemployment problem was solved within 2 years, and the destitute nation began to recover economically. With a stable currency, no debt, and no inflation, Nation X was a beacon of hope in a world still grappling with joblessness and the heavy hand of international bankers. In just 5 years, Nation X went from the poorest nation in the region to the richest. It restored foreign trade, despite a global boycott, by using a barter system that effectively removed the bankers from the equation. Nation X flourished, proving that bartering could eliminate national debt and trade deficits. In a twist of irony, a Rothschild agent, temporarily at the helm of the nation's central bank, sided with the international bankers against Nation X. But Nation X stood firm. It rescued itself from the English economic theory, which held that all currency must be borrowed against gold owned by a private banking cartel. Instead, Nation X issued its own currency for the benefit of its people. Nation X took control of both physical and financial currency manufacturing, defeating the machinery of falsification and putting it to work for the people. It brought its central bank under strict government regulation, eliminating foreign speculation and shutting down easy access to loans from private banks. So, what can we take away from Nation X's defiance against the international bankers? The key points are clear. Issue your own currency, create a national credit program, pay workers in treasury certificates, and employ a barter system for foreign trade. With these strategies, Nation X proved it was possible to defy the international banking cartels and take control of its own economic fate. And if one nation can do it, perhaps others can too.